Okay, everyone, now that we have our sketchbook cover, the white piece of paper that covers the cardboard of our cover, let's talk about what to put on your sketchbook cover. The theme for our sketchbook cover is going to be the word typography. Typography is just a funny word that means letters that look different from each other. So kind of imagine if you were to go onto the computer and pick a font. Different fonts on the computer have different designs. Some are very flowy and some have pictures around them and some are just very plain. So that's typography, the way that letters look different from each other. So I'm going to give you two options for your sketchbook. You're going to use typography to either write a phrase on your sketchbook, or you're going to use typography to create your initials of your first and last name in a 3D way on your sketchbook. So the first one I'm going to show you is this one right here. So you can pick a quote or a phrase to put in your sketchbook. I picked Miss Buettner's sketchbook. For example, if your name was Johnny, you could put Johnny's sketchbook. Or you can do a quote. You can say something like, I love art, as long as there's some letters in there somewhere. Now, these letters that I've put in Miss Buettner's sketchbook right here all look different. I'm going to look at these worksheets at my table to see different types of fonts. I'm going to pick some fonts that I like, and every letter in my phrase is going to look different. So for example, this S right here, I'm using a zigzag line all the way around to create that S. This S looks very different from this E. This E is kind of a swirly curly Q at the end. That looks very different from this T. It's very thick and dark and bold. So I'm just going to pick different letters, different typography for each letter in my phrase. So that's one option. Write your phrase with different letters. You can put pictures around your phrase and decorate it any way that you like. That's fine, as long as you're using typography. The second option for you are these block letters, or these 3D looking letters. When something is 3D, it means it has a shadow. Kind of looks like it's popping out of you, or you could pick it up. So to do this option, you are first going to take a pencil. So I've got my pencil here, and you need to choose a marker color. So I've got my marker color here. Inside of the basket at your table, you're going to find the letters of your first and last name. Okay, so I've got my two letters here, N, B, for my first name starts with N, my last name starts with B. So let's pretend this is my cover right here. I'm going to show you on a separate piece of paper. I'm going to start with the letter of my first name and place it anywhere on my sketchbook cover, maybe towards the top so that I have room for the second letter. I'm going to use my pencil to trace the outline of that letter. So just holding with two fingers here and trying to, as best as I can, as slowly and carefully as I can, go around the outside of this stencil letter. So I might need to move my fingers so that I have enough space here. If your pencil isn't pressing directly against the stencil, that's okay. Just try your best. So once I think I've gone all the way around, I'm going to take my stencil off. And then I've got my first letter N there, okay? Now I'm going to put my pencil away. Pencil is done. Keep my stencil, put it back in the correct spot where it was, where I traced it. Now just move it down or over a tiny bit so that you can see that N that I just traced poking out, but you can't see the whole thing. They're kind of overlapping each other. So now I'm going to take my marker, and actually I think I'm going to start with, I think I'll do purple. So I'm going to start with my purple marker now, and I'm going to trace the same N right in this spot right here. So the same thing I just did, holding with two fingers, I'm going to go all the way around, making sure I get all the edges very carefully here. If you accidentally color on the stencil, don't worry about it. It's okay. And once I've got all the edges and curves of this N, then I can take my stencil off. Okay. Now, my job next is to take my purple marker and any area that is inside of the purple outline, I'm going to just shade it in dark with the purple marker. I'm going to cover up some of that pencil letter N that I drew before, and that's okay. I think I need to switch markers. This is not such a great marker here. I need a juicier purple. There we go. All the way around the outside and inside. Get all the white spaces around. Okay, now I've blocked in my entire letter N here. Looks like a nice block letter. Now, what I'm going to do, this is the most important step. I'm going to look at that N that is behind this purple N, and I'm going to start to make a shadow. I'm going to take my pencil, and every time that I see a corner or a corner point of my letter, I'm going to make a straight line that connects it to the back part of that pencil. So I'm moving up the line here. I see a point here, straight line connected to the back. Coming around the curve, no straight lines yet. Oh, there's one. Make a straight line to the back. Then coming up, oh, I've got a point, straight line to the back. Coming around, straight line to the back. And coming down and over, no points yet. Oh, there's one, straight line to the back. Up to that point, straight line. Coming around, oh, there's one more. And then I stop. I don't need to do the front part here, just the back part. So you can kind of see now that it's making it look like it's popping out at us. We just need to now take our pencil and shade the rest of that area that's part of that pencil N. And as I shade this, it's starting to really look like a block letter, 3D letter that's popping out at me. Okay, and then I finished it off and I've shaded the whole thing. Now I've got the whole shadow there. If I really wanted to, I could take my black marker and I could outline the shadow and shade it in with the black marker and make it look really dark. Or I can just keep it with the pencil. Okay, so that's how you create your block 3D letters. I would do the same thing with the B. If you forget any of the steps, boys and girls, there's a worksheet at your table that you can see step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to finish these block letters. This is a little trickier than just creating the individual typography letters, so you choose whichever one you want to go with. If you like the look of this one better, go with this one. If you like the look of this one better, go with this one. But just remember, this has a few more tricky steps that you're going to have to follow on a worksheet. Okay? So you choose, after you finish your self-portraits, which design to go with your sketchbook. If you do not finish your sketchbook cover today, that's okay. This is kind of like a work in progress. If you ever have free choice time, you can come back to this and keep adding to it.